Hello and welcome to Talking Baseball. The Mariners are the hottest team going. Jake is out west trying to fix the snake. It's me and BBD. Let's get it! Gosh, I hit that thing so far.
Just foul.
Hello and welcome to Talking Baseball. It's a kids episode. It's me and Beavers doing the thing. Jake, like I mentioned, he's out in Arizona trying to turn things around for the Snakes, who are on an L8 right now.
Sheesh.
So we're taking care of business. I'm in MC Studios. BBD's back in Manhattan at the office. Guess what, Beavers? Special episode today.
Very special app.
Right here. Episode 700. We love round numbers. And I don't know why, as humans, we love round numbers, but we do, Beavers. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Whole show's brought to you by SeatGeek, as always. Episode 700. That's a real number.
That's like, who has 700 homers? Albert Pujols.
Barry
Bonds. Hank Aaron. Is that it?
Babe Ruth.
And
not A-Rod.
A-Rod has 696, right? Oh, my goodness. August 11th. Things are going a little haywire, Beavers. We're going to have a little bit of a different episode for everybody today. We're still going to go through the games. I'm going to attempt to burn them. But what's going to happen, and I want everyone to listen up. Okay?
Here's the agenda.
This is the agenda. We're going to go down. I'm going to burn the games. We're going to talk about them very briefly. Not going to go too in-depth into any series. We'll touch on the Lorenzen no. We'll talk about Shohei a little bit, hitting 40, and Matt Olson's there too. We'll go standout. And then awards, we're going to change it up. We got some questions from the audience. We pulled Twitter/X. I don't even know if we can say Twitter anymore.
I'm using the old lingo still, but I don't know
what do you
I'm
say? What's a tweet?
I'm still saying tweet. The other stuff sounds too dirty.
I sent an X.
I ain't doing.
We gotta figure that out. Elon,
let's
figure something out here because I don't know what to say. We sent out a tweet last night. You guys sent some questions in, and we're gonna answer some of those. So, a little bit of a different show on this beautiful, beautiful Friday morning. It was my brother's birthday yesterday, Beavers.
Oh, happy birthday, Marsh.
Big old Marsh. Marshface turned 41.
Woohoo!
Makes me feel old. When I think about my brother being 41, although I'm not that far off, which also freaks me out. And I've been thinking about that a lot. Beavers,
that's when it enters your horizon now.
Like I'm like a legit adult, and I sometimes really don't feel that way. But once you get 40, like you better figure it out, right? Like I don't know if can I pop my chain when I'm 40?
40's the new 30. Is that what they say?
I gotta tuck my chain in a couple of years, so I might as well let it fly for the next couple. If you know what I mean. I guess. Beavers, we should just get into it. Are we gonna do the stimulation tonight or today?
Oh man, I don't think it's fully prepped, but I could be interested in slyly
Do you prep the stimulator? I thought that thing just came out your head.
Well, you just need what the standings are in front of you and like the seedings and all that.
Got that.
Maybe we stimulate later. Probably not. But it is all brought to you, Trev, by Rocket Money. Rocket Money. Do you like rockets or money?
Yeah, both hands.
I'm kind of in on both too. Rockets. I'd like to see more. We haven't had too much rocket stuff in the last few years. We know aliens are real. Trev, the other day, started watching a show on a streaming service, no free ads. And I realized, I haven't been using this too much. Maybe should I have not been paying for this, in between, times I'm watching this show? Everything's got a subscription, streaming services, fitness programs. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, helps you lower your bills all in one place. So they could have let me know, you haven't been using this in a while. I would have come back for the show that I started again this week, but that's a move you can make. With Rocket Money, you can easily cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. No more long hold times or annoying emails with customer service. God, I hate contacting customer service. Rocket Money will do all that for you. Rocket Money also allows you to monitor all your expenses in one place, recommends custom budgets based on your past spending, and they'll even send you notifications when you've reached your spending limit. With over 3 million users and counting, Rocket Money customers have saved an average of $720 a year. And that's a real number. $720? And that's the average? Nice. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscription and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/talkin. That's rocketmoney.com/talkin. rocketmoney.com/talkin. They're a new sponsor for this show. So go ahead and click that link in the description. It helps everybody out. They're helping you out.
I'll tell you who needs this. Parents with kids that use their iPad.
They have signed up for stuff.
I'm telling you, man, sometimes you go into your subscriptions on your phone, you're like, what is this crystal slime? It's all weird stuff like that. Rocket Money can help you out.
Seems like it. Trev.
I think I might have just changed my mind. Should I do the music or should we just go down the list? What do you think? Should we flip a coin or something? I don't even have a coin out here. Who has coins anymore?
Who keeps a coin around?
For real, if you get a coin, it's just you put it in the tip jar, right?
Back when I had a car, I would just like keep coins in there, just like, I don't know, in case I end up in like a dire emergency and that's all I can pay for gas with. But
okay, quarters you keep.
But now I don't have a car anymore.
Just goes in the tip jar, I think.
I think so. You just find somewhere to keep those. Maybe once every 5 years you remember. Like,
give me the freaking music. Dude. I think we're doing American League. I don't care what we're supposed to do. I'm doing American League first.
We're starting American League. No Jake rules. Let's do it.
Oh my goodness. We are starting in C. Rose's Cleveland, where the Toronto Blue Jays came into town. They split this series. We were talking about it before. Beavers 13 runs scored in the whole dang 4-game set.
Both
Blue
teams.
Jays won the first one 3-1. Guardians won, then Blue Jays won, then the Guardians won again. That's how you get a split, my people. Biggio had a 2-run homer to break the scoreless tie in game 1. Cleveland's pitching was phenomenal here. They need to score some runs. I don't know what is going on there. They've gift wrapped the Central to my Twins. George Springer, he had a homer in the first inning. Gossman struck out 6 in a combined 6-hitter in the third game. And then Noah Syndergaard, how about that? He won for the first time since April 30th. So he goes to the Guardians, to Dodgers. Don't need ya. I'll go over to Cleveland and do my thing. This is a game where Springer and John Schneider were ejected, arguing a 3-2 pitch. No big deal. Danny Jansen was removed from the last game after being hit by a pitch. Hopefully he's okay. They split the series. The Tigers took 3 of 4 from my Twins in the Motor City, where they do a hockey celebration after homers. I know they call something with hockey going on with Detroit, but I think Minnesota should have that. Whatever. The first game, Twins came out swinging hot. 9-3. They scored a bunch of runs in the first inning, and basically that's all the offense did the rest of the series, as the Tigers won the last 3 games 6-0, 9-5, and 3-0. Reese Olson yesterday pitched really well up against Kenta Maeda. Spencer Torkelson had some homers. Miggy's passing everybody on the all-time hit list. I think he passed Tony freaking Gwynn, my people. That is awesome. Tigers take 3 of 4. How about this one? The Boston Red Sox. What do you got for us? Are you going to go? They take 3 of 4 from the Kansas City Royals. They won the first game. The Royals won the second game behind a nice start by Brady Singer. The offense kind of exploded against Cutter Crawford. And then the Red Sox took care of business in games 3 and 4. Pivetta, Paxton, Bayo all have nice starts in there. Like I said, the Red Sox are starting to go. Are we going to hear more about Triston Casas in a little bit? You bet
so.
We are. How about this one? Texas Rangers versus Oakland Athletics. Sure. What do you think is going to happen here? The Rangers win the series. They take 2 of 3. They win the first 2 games, 5-3 to 6-1, 5-3 and then 6-1 before the A's won the last game 2-0. What happened there? How about Freddie Tarnick? 4 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, and Zach Geloff hitting the homer. I think he's got 6 homers in his first 22 games, which is the fastest Oakland A to 6 homers. How about that statistic for you? We'll be talking more about the Rangers, maybe their manager later on in the episode. They got some injuries going, but they're still cooking, Beavers. And then your Yanks went into Chicago and lost 2 out of 3. I should say the Sox won 2 out of 3. They win 5-1 in game 1. Yankees win 7-1 in that game 2. And then the last game, the rubber match, the Sox win 9-2. Clevenger goes 6 innings pitched with 1 earned run in that start. Moncada, Andrews, Grandal, they all do well in that last game. White Sox take 2 of 3. Holy shnikes. That had the famous Boone ejection in it. Okay. And I believe the last series here in the American League, the Astros go into Baltimore and take 2 of 3 from the best team in the AL, record-wise, the Baltimore Orioles. Astros win 7-6, 8-2 before the Orioles win the last game, 5-4. We all know about the Kyle Tucker homer, the grand slam. We're going to hear about that a little bit more. He clipped my guy Flaherty in that second game, too. The Orioles did what they had to do. They haven't been swept since, like, Moby was a minnow, whatever that means to you. In the last game, Rushman, Mountcastle, both homered, and Felix Bautista worked through another shaky ninth inning, but got the job done. 76 series without being swept. The Orioles have it. And that, my friends, is what happened in the American League.
Trev, great job, man. That was very well done. Been a while since you burned.
Yeah.
I liked hearing
that. Was not easy. Not a lot of jokes. Maybe I'll do better later in the show. Let's get the American League standings up because we love that.
In the East, the Baltimore Orioles have the AL's best record at 71-44. The Rays are 3 games behind them. Blue Jays, Red Sox, Yankees bringing up the rear. Blue Jays significantly ahead of Red Sox and Yankees. In the Central, your Twins are up 3.5 on the Guardians. Tigers, White Sox, Royals, thanks for playing. In the West, Rangers remain in first. Astros 2.5 behind them. The Mariners starting to creep up. They've got a W7. They're 10 games above 500 now. Angels kind of a little bit the opposite. They've won 2 in a row. 10.5 games back in the division. The A's, I looked at their record for the first time in a while today. They're back to like a historic pace. No thanks. And
how about the wild card?
In the wild card, either 3 teams holding position are Tampa, Houston, and Toronto. Seattle is just a 1.5 games back. They're the next team out. Red Sox are 4 games out. Yankees are 5. The Angels are down to 6.5 out at 500. And the rest of the teams, I can't even entertain you in this discussion. A's, you're 31
freaking
games
Seattle
out.
Mariners, W7, 9-1 in their last 10. Now sitting a 1.5 games back of a wild card playoff spot. They traded their closer at the deadline. What did they know? Because Seawald's hasn't been great for the Snakes. Snakes are struggling. Let's go back into some of these series. We don't need to touch them all, Beebs, like we said. We're not going to do that this episode. Blue Jays, Guardians. I'm kind of good on the Guardians. Chris Rose won't admit that they punted the AL Central, but they punted the AL Central. And they had some reasons. A lot of the young guys who have had to come up because of the injuries to Bieber and to McKenzie, they have innings limits, so they're just not going to have the pitching to get it done. They trade away Josh Bell. They trade away Aaron Savale. The Blue Jays, meanwhile, they're going. This is the Blue Jays window. Like they have to make the playoffs. They have to make some sort of splash there. And, decent series if you like pitching. Not a lot of runs scored here. We did have the ejections like we're talking about.
Yeah. This is like a big ejection week.
Big ejection week. Yeah, I don't know. The young Cleveland pitchers are really good. Like, they're really good, and I wish there wasn't such thing as inning limits, and then we could surround these guys with some bangers and see what happens, but that is not going to be the case in 2023, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland, it's sort of the same story they always are. they pitch and they get the most out of all their pitchers. They're going to bring up some young guy you didn't hear of before, and they aren't going to score enough runs. I think 2 total runs across the first 3 games of this series, and yeah, somehow they win 1 game doing that level of production because they pitch.
Gavin Williams, Tanner Bybee, Logan Allen, 1 run over 19 combined innings. I mean, Toronto's a good offense. I know they haven't performed all the way to expectations, but trust me, you talk to pitchers, they don't want to face Toronto's offense. There's a bunch of guys that could beat you in that lineup.
No, it can't be a fun time. I know it hasn't been quite to what they expect the last couple years, but frankly, Toronto, hey, they're a top 5 OBP team. They're not doing it.
Nothing else crazy happened here. The Blue Jays are 15-5 on the road since June 20th. If you're a road warrior team, like chances are you're going to be a good team because you're going to win at home.
Yeah,
you go around looking at all the records of home records. Like you're gonna play well at home. It's what do you do on the road? Toronto doing it here. Twins, Tigers, not much here to be honest with you. I'm happy for the Tigers. I wish they were a better team.
Mm-hmm.
Torkelson, I saw him have some really good swings. I covered this series, so got to see a bunch of it. I mentioned Miggy Cabs. He passes Tony Gwynn on the all-time hit list, and he said that was pretty cool. After the game, had some fun quotes. I believe he's tied with Robin Yount now. Paul Wainer, the big poison, is up next. I was looking through Beavers, like who can he catch?
Ooh.
He's this year possibly can get to 16, where Cal Ripken sits. I think he needs some hits. He's got like 40 more hits or something like that over the last 2 months here, which we'll see if he can do. If he gets hot, I mean, maybe he can get hot.
I mean, he
still has it in him.
I saw a little butter knife posted of him that I can find the exact numbers on, but he's been like since June, kind of been going. You know, it's not going to save the season number, I assume, but yeah, he has been productive for them for a little while now. Since May 30th, he's got an 829 OPS. 40 games.
That's not really.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pop isn't what it once was, although getting his doubles in. Only 1 homer in that time, but yeah, 331 batting average.
Okay.
Miggy has not been an empty lineup spot when he's been in there. So, good for him.
Twins, you don't get much from me today. The offense stunk. I will say this, Erod, I think a lot of people question, like, why wouldn't you go to LA? You get traded. Why would you enact your no trade clause? And I felt the same way. I'm like, dude, you get a chance to go to LA, like chance to win a World Series. And then I started to really think about it. You got to get into this dude's shoes, right?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, he left Detroit, I believe it was last year, for he had some marital issues. Okay. That's his personal stuff. That came out publicly. That's why I'm mentioning it. I think that plays into it a little bit here where, you don't want to uproot your family if you don't have to. And then really from a baseball perspective is what I want to talk about. If you're having this good of a year in a walk year where you can opt out and be a free agent, why change it up?
Yeah, you're comfortable.
If you like
now.
Pitching in Detroit and you're having success, yeah, it might look like a little bad if you turn down the trade, but you put the no trade clause in there for a reason. It's for leverage.
Yeah.
I'm sure he asked for some certain things from the Dodgers, and if they met those expectations, whether it be guaranteeing this amount of money or maybe try to work on the extension, something like that.
On an extra year or two to this and basically reworking the remainder of the deal. Hey.
Exactly. But if they weren't willing to do that, then you know what, dude? Let me finish off where I feel real comfortable. Let me continue to put up numbers, and then I'll just go into the offseason. Hey, if you want me then you're going to have to pay me. Yeah. So I started to really think about it from that standpoint when I was watching him carve the Twins up, 7 innings pitched, no runs, 5 Ks. He just soft contact king, dude. That's the reason he didn't go. He's like, I'm comfortable here. I don't want to uproot my family. And I'm just going to finish off the season. There's very little pressure on me here. So I'll just continue to do my thing, walk into the offseason with incredible numbers, and then I just get paid. So I actually respect the decision because I think it's smart.
Yeah, I mean, and in any walk of life, if you tell a guy you got to move tomorrow, I'd rather
Yeah,
not. like,
leave your family. Like, dude, this is what happens for real. I mean, when you have a family, like you go, the
yeah,
player goes, and then you leave your spouse, your family, and they just got to pack everything up. Sure, you can get help to do that, but you leave them. And there's a lot of loose ends that you got to, you got to figure it out. And I mean, I left Olivia in Oakland. She was pregnant.
huh. Yeah,
And I had to go. And she had to like get the apartment packed up and stuff, dude. It's horrible.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a little bit, even less about like that, like moving, like, I get asked like, oh, do you ever get to like just like take a night off from watching? And like, I can, I try to watch at least every Yankee game for Talkin Yanks and stuff. But like, the stakes for me very low. I wonder if like probably every now and then somebody who like just doesn't get baseball talks to a baseball player like, you ever just like take a night off? It's like, well, even if you're essentially getting that, you gotta be there. Like you're not just getting nights off in the summer. like, and that just kind of made me laugh.
How about this segue? Alex Verdugo kind of tried to take a night off a couple days ago, showed up 2 hours before the game, got benched. Our Red Sox take 3 out of 4.
They were
the Kansas City Royals.
To their fans, Carabas declared him dead. Like, and you know what they did? They broke out the yellow unis, Trev.
That's what they have to. 4 games back of a wild card spot. I will not declare them dead. So I will reverse Carabas's dead call, unless he was trying to T-ploof it from 2022 with them.
I don't think he was.
Happened.
He didn't use the word dead in the tweet I saw, at least, but they were in a bad way a few days ago. And I know it's the Royals. I saw the Yankees do the same thing where they were in a bad. Only series they've won in a month and a half is a sweep against the Royals. So cautious optimism, but yeah,
you got to do that. You got to do it to the Royals with where they're at right now. This had the Pablo Reyes walk-off grand slam. That was after the no check swing call on Urias. I think the big breakdown's coming out about that. It's a tough way to lose, but it's also a great way to win. So, if you're a Kansas City Royal fan, you're like, this sucks. What's going on? But if you're a Red Sox fan, you're like, yeah, he didn't go. No way.
Didn't call it. And I believe that's Pablo Reyes' first homer as a Red Sox, so that's got to feel good. First homer, I think, in almost 2 years in the show, so that's cool. He's had a productive year.
We're going to talk Triston Casas a little bit later. His July was insane. Red Sox got some good starting pitching here. Bayo's been doing his thing. Pavetta steps back in. 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Cutter Crawford got banged around a little bit. Then Paxton did his thing. We know they got Sale coming back. We know they got Tanner Houck and Whitlock. So I'm kind of into the Red Sox, to be honest with you. I like their offense. It's been really good all year long. And it's been the starting pitching for the most part. But if you kind of go look at the staff, like some of the numbers are okay, man. Like it's just a matter of putting all the things together. They're not a good defensive team. They're a very bad base running team. I've seen a lot of low lights with the Red Sox on the bases, but you can mask some of that stuff if you go out there and bang and pitch the ball. So, they got to put it together, but there's just no doubt in my mind they're going to be challenging for a wild card spot, come the end of September. I think the reinforcements are coming, and there's just I think there's too many players in that clubhouse that can rally the troops.
Enough guys that we've seen do that. And yeah, I mean, obviously there's some Yankees Red Sox stuff in my soul here, so I don't, I do not want it to happen, but I mean, the Red Sox can absolutely make these last 2 months very interesting. They can, I mean, they're in the race right now, but they're not far off from being very in. Only the Mariners between them and a spot. So, and one of the teams that would currently have to fall out, of course. But no, the Red Sox, they bang. If they have the formula to get enough out of their starting pitching, and they got more than enough this series. And they went all in on a bullpen this year. So I would be optimistic if I'm a Red Sox fan right now. Today would be
way more than a Yankees fan. Way more than a Yankees fan.
The Yankees have been doing the same song and dance all year. That just how can I believe right now?
Shout out Drew Waters, MJ Melendez, and Michael Massey. They each hit a 2-run homer in the game that the Royals did win 9-3. You always got to shout them out a little bit. They're still playing ball out there. I know Royals fans aren't having a great time this year. I mean, a bad time.
Yeah, well, hey,
silver lining, you're going to get a high pick.
Get another high pick. Hey, Melendez figure it out a little bit. He's a guy who's supposed to be a cornerstone for that team moving forward. So, that's what you're watching for there.
Rangers take 2 of 3 from the A's. We don't have to go too far into this one. Mitch Garver's done a good job. Jonah Heim out right now. And Mitch Garver filling in. He was on an episode of Sequence. If you want to go check that out.
Yeah,
I got to bring that show back. I got no time, though, Beavers.
It's a hard ask. It's a hard ask. Garver,
and I don't think MLB loved it, but we'll see.
Very film heavy, but the times have changed. I don't know. I had not looked at Garver's stats on the year. They were getting the best offensive production out of the catcher spot in the AL, and Garver has filled in admirably. He's a guy that's he has a 31 homer season in the bag. I know juice ball year and all that, but hey, not a bad backup to turn to.
He can be a good hitter. He thinks about hitting the right way. Like, he can do it. And 44 games, 165 plate appearances, the 821 OPS is nice. Losing Josh Young sucks, man.
That's tough. Sucks. I know we're going to talk. I think we're talking a bit about that later. But,
every time I think about that, I'm like, oh, but Corey Seager is there.
Mm-hmm. He's missed his time.
Can literally carry your offense for you. Jonah Heim and Josh Young, though, is going to be tough for them to replace the production there. But this is a lineup that's been doing it all year long. I mean, this team has been battling injuries all year long. Probably more on that later, too. So we don't have to go too far into this. The A's. What do we got on the A's?
I don't
know, man.
It is... it went off the radar a little bit when they had that 7-gamer in June, but it's just an historically bad record. I feel bad. But...
Okay, hold on. I didn't see this initially when I was browsing the games, but Max Scherzer was upstairs in the clubhouse, and this was in Oakland. Okay, so if people don't know, in Oakland, you have to exit the dugout. You have to walk through a little concourse where there's fans to your right. And then you have to walk up these stairs that you share with the fans.
Huh.
You're supposed to be, the players stay on one side, fans stay on the other. But I mean, you're like, people are getting popcorn and nachos and you're just walking up in your uniform. It's a joke. So you have to walk up the stairs, and then you have the clubhouse. So Max Scherzer was in the clubhouse watching the game, but you have to have the game on delay there. And many times you're not even supposed to have the game on in the clubhouse. So that's interesting. I guess if it's on delay, it's okay. He didn't realize that, and then had to run out to the field. And by the time he got there, it was too late. Home plate umpire Dan Iasonia called the violation. And this is what Max Scherzer had to say. I'm sure it's a funny quote. Haven't read it yet. You don't have time. You only get one more warm-up pitch. So I threw the pitch down. I didn't think we were going to be abiding by the clock. And then all of a sudden, here we are abiding by the clock. This is a health and safety thing. Pitchers should be allowed to get their normal 8 warm-up pitches regardless of the situation. Well, yeah. If you're going to get a violation already, throw your pitches, right?
Yeah. Might as well. Yeah, that's crazy.
That's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, Beavers, going up to the visiting clubhouse, it's a joke.
It's a mess there, huh?
It's hilarious, dude.
Well, if there's a guy, I think in the back of his mind, Max Scherzer likes that happened. Locked him back in.
He loves to complain about stuff. I love it.
Can make it into a big picture thing. Union guy. Love that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yankees-White Sox. You want to take a crack at this just quick? People hate when we talk about the Yankees.
People hate when we talk about the Yankees. I kind of hate it too. The Yankees. Cole's performance was better than that line. They needed to squeeze the most out of him they can. I supported them throwing him out there for the 8th. They couldn't strand the runners he left out there, so the final line is a little spoiled, but he was Garrett Cole again. Yankees don't hit enough. Game 2, they looked like a team beating a team they should be better than. And then game 3, story of that one is they use an opener on Severino. You had to try something else, but Severino, it did not look like the solution for him. He was not quite fixed. Yankees, it's a tough one. They, the one team in baseball that had probably more dysfunction going on in the days leading up to it than you were the White Sox, and we didn't capitalize. So, hey, weird. Underrated, like weirdest week ever for the Yankees the week before. I mean, Donaldson goes on the 60-day 2 weeks earlier, and he just goes, runs around, does his normal warm-up, shows everybody he's not hurt, so making kind of a mockery of the team, which, hey, if you're not hurt and they put you on the 60-day without telling you, I'd be pissed too. Herman stuff, that's all serious. Rizzo, they figure out he's got the concussion finally, so not to mention the no trades and everything else. Weirdest, 10 days for the Yankees in a long time. And somehow the White Sox going in had a weirder 10 days. They persevere. Yankees do not.
I think White Sox fans don't talk about us, please.
Please don't single us out.
They just want to hide in the corner. They're the kids at the high school dance up against the wall, being like, "Oh my gosh!" Hopefully,
when is mom coming? Yeah, and I guess,
oh my gosh,
the suspensions all got handed out, but I think everyone's appealing. So Anderson, Jose Ramirez, they both played this week.
Pedro Grifol served his 1-game suspension.
Nice.
How much longer is that going to happen there? Oh my gosh, the White Sox are a disaster.
Yeah, he was
a disaster.
I mean, he was brought in specifically to fix those issues, and it feels like they got worse. And I feel bad. I don't know what he does or doesn't do, so I'll reserve judgment, I guess. But it's a mess there.
I don't know.
Middleton.
What was I gonna say? I had something to say, and now I forgot it. Oh yeah, hey, just dance. If you're a guy that doesn't dance and you're embarrassed or you just feel like you don't, just go dance. It's not that hard, and nobody cares if you're a bad dancer. It's funnier and just speaking from a male perspective,
you don't gotta be good.
Chicks like guys that try.
Yeah, it's in my experience, sometimes it's just, all right, go get one more drink real quick, and then you'll be good. You'll be
you gotta get lubed up a little bit.
Little bit. Not a guy who's very comfortable in his skin. But no.
I've seen you comfortable in your skin. You
have your moments.
Are you a dancer?
If I'm with the right crowd, it'll be a good time.
With the right amount of lubrication.
Yeah, but it's I gotta get loosened up.
Just move the hips a little bit. That's it.
You gotta get it going.
Just get count in your head if you need to. 1, 2.
I think the pure rhythm is there. I just you get scared, but you gotta just do it. At the end of the day, just getting out there and having your own fun with it is what's gonna be the best result. And now you self-sabotage. So I don't know.
Last series in the American League, the Houston Astros go into Baltimore. They take 2 out of 3. The first game is a freaking doozy. Baltimore is cruising. Felix Bautista is on the mound in the 9th inning, trying to shut it down. And then that Abraham Lincoln MF or Kyle Tucker steps up to the plate with bases loaded, has an unreal at bat. I think it was 9 pitches, could have been 10. 9 pitch at bat. Last pitch is a heater at a hunch, and Tucker turns it around for the grand slam. My goodness. What an at bat. What a freaking Astros. This is what they do, people. Framber Valdez, he gives up 6 Ernies, dude. Gets outdueled by Grayson Rodriguez. Baltimore's flying high. Uh-uh. Not
Spirit's
only does he hit the
broken.
grand slam in game 1 to get the W, he comes out against our boy Flaherty, and in the first inning of that game, I believe he hits a 2-run Jimmy Jack.
Sheesh.
And puts them ahead. They win that game as well. They win that one 8-2. Flaherty's overall line, he's been pretty good for the Orioles so far. This one, 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs, so he settled down after that one. And the Orioles, like we talked about in game 3, avoid the sweep. They win 5-4. Touch up Hunter Brown a little bit. They get 8 hits, 5 earned runs off him. Rushman with the homer. Mountcastle with the homer. Both of them had 2 RBI in that game. But the Astros take care of business against a really solid Orioles. Not solid's not the right word. Shut up, Trevor.
They've been the AL's best team.
Best team in the AL. I can't wrap my head around that, though, Beavers. I can't. I'm just being honest with the people here. Holy crap.
That
happened fast.
Fast. Last year was their burst on the scene year. They just missed the playoffs, and all of a sudden they're a juggernaut. With that said, this week Astros showed them what the Astros do. They have been there and done that. So
yes, they have. Yes,
I think an important lesson for that Baltimore team to learn, and they do salvage the series by at least getting that one at the end, 5-4. So Dean Kremer, I like him.
Just some Dean Kremer. I like that Dalton put in this note. The game started 13 minutes late because of rain. Dalton, you didn't need to put that in there, bro.
Littlest rain delay.
What is the shortest rain delay of all time? And is that it right there?
Let's see if that's a quick Googleable thing. Delay MLB history.
In that last game, Houston left 11 runners on base. The Orioles left how many, Beebs?
A lot.
0 in the last game.
Not a lot.
They went 3 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Okay, did you quick Google it?
Yes, there was a rain delay that was just over 3 minutes in 2014. It was Mets-Brewers, so that's some good stuff. It was in extra innings.
Where was it at?
Looks like it has to have been at Citi Field. Yes, Citi Field. Brewers are a dome.
Brewers are not a dome. It's retractable, and they've messed that up before.
Okay.
They've messed that up before.
Check a forecast, guys.
All right, we're going to move on to the National League. Do you have any reads or anything? I'm not good at this.
We do. The National League, Trev, brought to you by some good friends. Tommy John, Jake's favorite underwear. Jake flew, I guess it was last night. You know what type of underwear he was wearing. He's got to get comfortable. I mean, actually, he's just Tommy John 100% now after getting in on this deal. I had a big game last night, so I broke out my Tommy Johns. When you wear Tommy John, you are much more comfortable. You do everything better. Tommy John underwear has the non-rolling waistband for the perfect fit. The legs never ride up. Every pair comes with the Tommy John's no wedgie guarantee. Tommy John underwear has dozens of comfort innovations like the breathable, lightweight, moisture-wicking fabric with 4 times the stretch of competing brands that keep you 7 degrees cooler than cotton. How do they get that number? I don't know. They've got science behind it. I do love Tommy John. I have a few pairs of them. I save them for the big occasions still. Like I said, Jake is on them every day now. I like Tommy John. You should be interested as well. Get 20% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/talkin. 20% off at TommyJohn.com/talkin. TommyJohn.com/talkin. No G on there. See site for details. The link is in the description. Guys, get good underwear. It will make every day better. Well, I was just going to tell
you, Beavers, you turn into an adult when you don't have good underwear days and bad underwear days. You should just have good underwear days, okay?
Oh, yeah. We're getting there. I'm off the parents' health insurance now.
Toss listen, guys, toss the old underwear away. Just toss it. You don't need it.
You'll
Get yourself some Tommy John fill-up. How about this? I think guys should have 10 pairs of Tommy John.
I think
that's
so,
all
too.
you need.
Get you through the laundry cycles.
Get 14. Get 2 weeks worth of underwear.
Firm 2 weeks. I like that.
Boom.
Why not?
Then you go into your drawer and you don't have to go for the bad underwear. That's just not it, guys.
It's not a good time.
Not it.
It's not a good time. Trev, would you like to tell us what happened in the National League?
Yes, I would, and we're starting in my city, Philadelphia. The Nationals came into town. Phillies took care of business. They won 3 of 4, and what a series it was. They win the first game 8-4 behind Zach Wheeler, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. They win this, that was a doubleheader because the first game was postponed. So they win the first game of the doubleheader. They lose the second game of the doubleheader 5-4 as the Nationals get their only victory behind a Josiah Gray start. Not too great. 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. And then it was all Phillies after that. 7-0 game 3. Something might have happened. Oh, yeah. A no-no by our guy, Michael Lorenzen. Damn, Michael. In the white vans. Goes 124 pitches to get it done. Topper. Way to keep him in there. Another caveat there, Weston Wilson. I'll talk about you, bro. I really will. They win the last game 6-2 as well, behind a nice start by Nola, who hasn't had the greatest year. He goes 5 innings pitched with 1 earned run in that game. Realmuto homers, Trey Turner homers, Castellanos homers. Castellanos had a couple of homers in this series. Trey Turner's been banging since the standing ovation, so great job, Philly. More teams should get behind their struggling players. More on this series in a little bit. Phillies take 3 of 4. Very impressive. Do you like my damn, Michael?
I really liked that.
That's pretty good. How about this one? The Braves went into Pittsburgh. A lot of 4-game sets this year, or this week. What's going on there? They split with the Pirates. Pirates win the first one 7-6. Braves take the meat games 8-6, 6-5 before the Pirates won the last one 7-5. So a lot of close games here. My goodness. Spencer Strider got nailed in the first game. 2 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs. My goodness. Atlanta's starting pitching not great here. Chirino 6 earned runs. Max Fried 4 earned runs in 4 innings pitched. Bryce Elder 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. It doesn't matter. They split the series. Pirates doing the dang thing. Matt Olson is hitting homers. Ke'Bryan Hayes having a day there in the last game. The Braves are a wagon, splitting two games, or getting 2 games in a split. I think they'll take it. More on this series in a bit. Spencer Strider, what the heck? Okay. Moving on, the Marlins go into Cincinnati. They're fighting for a playoff spot. The Reds are fighting for a playoff spot. The Marlins take 2 of 3. Those fish. The Reds win the first game 5-2. They get to Yuri Perez. He goes 4 2/3 with 4 earned runs. Encarnacion Strand hits the homer in the first game, and then the Marlins took control 3-2 in the second game, 5-4 in the last game to win the series. Josh Bell looking like Josh Bell again now that he's on the Marlins. He hits 2 homers in the last game. Jorge Soler goes 3 for 3 in game 2 with 2 ribbies and a homer. They get the job done. Braxton Garrett, that is Dalton's guy, huh?
He loves Braxton Garrett.
He goes 6 innings pitched, 2 earned runs, gets the job done. Cueto still pitching in the big leagues. You love to see that. 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs in that game 3. Marlins take 2 out of 3. Reds are kind of iffy right now, if I got to be honest with you. Marlins doing the thing. I like that. Okay. How about this? Chicago Cubs. They go into Flushing. I don't know what to call it, people. They take on the New York Mets. The Mets take 2 of 3. They win the first game 11-2. How'd that happen? Drew Smyly got banged around, and Senga had a good start there. Jameson Taillon gets the dub in game 2. He goes 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs. Kyle Hendricks goes 5 innings pitched, 2 earned runs in that last game. The Mets take that one 4-3. Cubs win the second game 3-2. Cubs are there. They need to win games. Mets need to win games. Are the Mets done? They're done. They're sold off. They take 2 out of 3. We'll dive into that a little bit later. The Rockies go into Milwaukee. Milwaukee handles business. They take 2 of 3. They win the first game 12-1. And then there's a couple extra inning games. The Rockies, Cole Tucker.
Oh, our guy.
Cole Tucker ends up they get the W in the game too. They win that one 7-3 and 10, score a bunch of runs in that 10th inning, and the Brewers walk it off on Wednesday, game 3. They do it. Who hit the walk-off for them? I got to scroll down here. Mark Canha scored the winning run in the bottom of the 10th on a throwing error by Tovar. That's right.
Wow.
Okay. Stay atop the NL Central. Brewers take 2 of 3. We'll dive into it a little bit later. This is a big one. Not really. 2-gamer. Dodgers sweep the Diamondbacks in Arizona 5-4 and then 2-0. Bobby Miller with a nice start. Urias with a nice start. They both go 6 innings pitched, 4 hits, 0 earned runs. Very similar lines there. Mookie has a big game. Freddie has a big game. Of course they do. Dodgers win the 2-game. They sweep it. And I guess that's what happened in the National League. The standings.
The standings. I have those ready for you. The Braves still atop the NL East. They are 9.5 games up on the Phillies, who are the next best team in the division, and they've been really going. 7-3 in their last 10, the Phillies are. Marlins, Mets, Nats bringing up the rear there. Milwaukee Brewers are 2.5 games up on the division right now. Cubs and Reds, by games back, they are tied. I think Reds have one more win and one more loss, so okay. Pirates, you're in 4th there, 9.5 games out, and the Cardinals are bringing up the rear in the NL Central. We are going to look back on this season for them in a very weird way, a weird outlier for them, I think. Dodgers are up 6.5 games on the Giants in the NL West. The Arizona Diamondbacks on an L8, 11.5 out. They are below 500 now. Sheesh. Padres are in 4th, 13.5 out of the division, but they have some better vibes. Well, we'll get into them later, I think. Rockies, you are in last place there. In the wild card, 3 teams currently holding position. The Phillies have the top wild card spot. Good for you guys. The Giants, they have been pretty firmly in that 2nd seed there for a while now. Marlins, they have the 3rd spot right now, but Cubs and Reds both half a game out of there. The D-backs are still around. They're 2.5 out. Get right, guys. The Padres within 5 games, 4.5 out. They're creeping, maybe. The rest of you guys can't really talk about. Mets, you're 7 games out. You are literally closer to last place, I think. Not last place, but the teams that are firmly out.
Padres with the L4, Diamondbacks with the L8. Miami taking Cincinnati out of that last playoff spot because they won 2 out of 3. They're a half game up on the Cubs and Cincinnati. That's going to be a wild race, man.
3 teams within half a game of that last spot. That's, hey, you like postseason races?
Word of Cron Pod. Nationals go into Philadelphia. Philadelphia handles business. The only game the Nationals won was the 2nd game of the doubleheader. Joey Meneses has 2 homers there. He's continued to be a very good big league hitter. I know he started off slow. He's been getting it going lately. So shout out to him and Josiah Gray. Well, I guess he didn't. Josiah Gray doesn't really deserve a shout out, but just what's up, bro?
They won the game you started, and you and I are Instagram friends. So love you, Josiah Gray.
Other than that, Phillies handled it. The Lorenzen no-hitter is obviously the talk of the town. He's now pitched in 2 games for the Phillies. He went 8 innings in the first one, obviously 9 here. So he's been a steal at the trade deadline. They have 6 dudes right now. Actually, 7 starters because they have Sanchez, Suarez, Wheeler, Nola, Lorenzen, and then also Bailey Falter. So they have like 7 guys that can take the pill whenever they need to. That's going to help you as you get down into the nitty gritty of the season like we're at now. But Lorenzen seems to be, an under the radar, big time pickup. A lot of people were not happy when he made the All-Star team because, he wasn't having a great year, but they have to send someone. The Tigers really didn't have anybody else. Yeah. So he goes. But then after that, he's been really good.
Yeah, since then, I think since the day he got announced to the All-Star team, he has pitched like it. So just needed some positive affirmations, I guess. And hey, he gets the no-hitter. That's nice. That was
124 awesome. Pitches. He's a workhorse. Topper lets him stay in there, which is nice. Also in that game, I guess snaps for Lorenzen. Again, doing it in the
Just
white
all of
vans
it.
is hilarious.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Like he needs a deal, Vans. If he doesn't have one already, they just sent a pair of your shoes into the Hall of Fame, which is awesome. In that game, Weston Wilson hits a homer. He also
Yes.
walks twice, so he's 1 for 1 with 2 walks in his big league career. I got to meet this guy. He's toiled around the Brewers minor leagues. He's been kind of doing that, I think 6-7 years in the minor leagues. Finally makes his debut. It's during this no-hitter, so kind of gets overshadowed, but his family was there. Him and Cole Tucker worked together this offseason hitting in a facility out here in Thousand Oaks with my buddy Brad Boyer. So I got to see him in the offseason. I was working with Cole a little bit as well. Both those guys are up in the big leagues right now. Nice. And Wilson's a strong, powerful dude with a good swing. So we'll see what he does with the Phillies down the stretch. I don't know what his usage will be. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm happy for the guy that he's there. Good dude. And again, kind of got overshadowed. So I wanted to make sure I shouted him out there.
Oh, that's a great call, Trip. I feel like there's a chance I'm making this up, but either earlier this year or last year, I think he might have gotten called up and didn't play, or maybe he just homered a bunch in a spring training game, and that's what's on my radar. I remember hearing his name at some point, so good for him. I didn't realize he was one of those guys, and I didn't know you knew him, so I like that.
I know him. I have also something to shout out. Jack Fritz apparently is the guy that organized the standing ovation for Trey Turner.
Okay.
And he's been raking ever since that happened. I think he's dotting it since that happened. I love, this needs to happen more.
Why not?
Instead of booing your players when they're doing poorly, how about you be an emotional rock for them and lift their spirits, because it will. I promise you, when guys are struggling, they know, and they don't want to be struggling. You know, it can help them. Some positive affirmation. That's what happened here. Trey's like, you know what? Okay, it ain't so bad. The people love me here, or at least they're rooting for me.
They know we're
Mentally,
together
it goes
for
a long
the next
way.
decade. So nice to get the support. I like that. It's a little more my
shout out
the booing.
Phillies fans, Jack Fritz. That's awesome. They take 3 of 4. Now, that's nice, as they have a stranglehold on one of the wild card spots. I think that's safe to say. I mean, they're up 4 games on the
Feels
Giants. Up 4 games on the Cubs, I guess that is.
Yeah, up 4. I guess it's at 4.5 on them. They they're in a very good position.
That.
They're in a very good position. The math can sneak up on you real quick. Philly, they had that weird start to the year where I felt like they kept digging themselves a hole, climbing back up to 500, then digging a hole again. But they, for at least 2 months now, have just kind of fully gone and been the team we sort of expected. And the Braves, the Braves have been a special team this regular season, so not sure how much more Phillies fans could want for this year. Obviously, maybe they're saying if they got off to a better start, they could be giving the Braves a run for their money up top. But hey, you got to be happy with where you're at in this spot. They handled a wild card series a year ago, so Phillies go.
Speaking of the Braves, they split a 4-gamer with the Pirates in that first game. Spencer Strider gets roughed up. He matched a career low, 2 2/3. This is an interesting stat. What day was that? August 7th. Last year on August 7th, he also lasted only 2 2/3 inning against the Mets. So maybe don't throw Spencer Strider on August 7th. He doesn't like the day, people.
Yeah,
he doesn't like August 7th.
Guy. That's interesting. Yeah, it's not a good, rare bad start from him. Pirates aren't a team you would have expected to do that. He has been in, for what Spencer Strider's done the rest of this year, a little bit of a funk, going back to mid-July, but second half of the year, I guess. But I don't think you can be too worried about him. He'll figure it out, but
he'll be fine.
That just is a bad start, and those will happen.
The Pirates had 2 outs, no one on. They scored 1 run in the third, and then they scored another 5 runs before the Braves could get the final out of that inning. So good on them. And then Orlando Arcia had a 3-run inning, or he had a 2-run double and a 3-run inning in the top of the 9th for the Braves to take the lead. We're going to talk a little bit more about Orlando Arcia later.
I think so.
Cunha let off the game with the homer in that second one. They split the series. Not much to talk about here. Braves are a wagon. And also, Matt Olson, I believe, caught Shohei Ohtani in homers. But that wasn't during this series, I don't think.
I don't think so. It might have been a 4-gamer. I don't know. I know Brian Hayes gave the Braves some fits all week. There's a little bit more on him later. But
are you talking Key Brian?
No, but he appears in one of our lists.
Oh, okay, sure.
He'll be in
nice. I like Key Brian Hayes a lot.
Yeah, he's putting it together a bit.
Okay, Matt Olson did tie Shohei in this series. He hit the 40th homer in the last game. How about this? We always talk about the Braves, but they're a wagon, they're so good. How about this for you guys? Over the last 6 games, starters have posted a 10.59 earned run average. Cause for concern in Atlanta?
Whoa.
Not really.
They
Marlins. What do you got?
Just Brian Hayes butter knife. He's missed a little time with 2 different injuries, it looks like, but his last 30 games played dating back to May 31st. He's batting .317 with an .866 OPS, so that's something you got to be excited about if you're in Pittsburgh.
Love that.
If he's gonna go, that's a big part of what they're doing. Big picture.
Marlins came into town, took care of business, stole a wild card spot from the Reds. The Reds got really good starting pitching in this series. Brandon Williamson goes 6 2/3 with 1 earned run. Luke Weaver, 4 1/3 innings pitched, but only 1 earned run. Graham Ashcraft, 7 innings pitched, 1 earned run. But the Marlins figure out a way to win 2 of these games. They win the final 2 games, 3-2, 5-4. They love 1-run games. That's what they kind of do. I did see Josh Chisholm in the first game, had a pinch hit homer. He also threw Ellie De La Cruz out on a really nice play in center field. I mean, it had to be perfect. He kind of ranged over to his glove side, turned and fired, and got Ellie going into second. I saw that highlight. So the Marlins, they come in and they do it. I mentioned Soler. He had a big game in game 2, 3 for 3 with the homer, 2 ribbies. And then Josh Bell had 2 home runs in that final game, drove in 4. Brian De La Cruz also had a homer. They're going to pitch. And if they get some of these homers, they can bop you and win some games.
They have made some offensive additions. There's some more on Josh Bell coming later. I will be talking about him.
There we go.
Another note from this series is Marlins decided try a little something. They swapped Soler and Arise in the order 1-2. So seems like it worked. Soler had a big series, and I like trying something new.
More ejections. Avisail Garcia gets ejected. Jorge Soler, Skip Schumacher get ejected in the next game. I don't know what's going on here with that. A lot of ejections going this week. Last game, David Robertson allowed a hit, and then he struck out Ellie De La Cruz for his 17th save and in 21 tries. 3rd for the Marlins since being acquired via a trade. So Marlins doing it. They shore up a bullpen. They bring some bats in. They rested Yuri Perez. I know he didn't have a great start here, but I think he's going to be able to throw the rest of the year, I'd assume.
Yeah. He is facing the Yankees, I believe that game is happening today. Yeah. Oh, no, Luzardo's today. I know the Yankees are getting Yuri Perez this weekend, but so yeah, I'll get a good look. Tell you how it goes. He's pitching Sunday, confirmed.
The Marlins had lost 5 games before winning the last 2 games of this series, so it kind of flipped the script a little bit on the Reds, which is nice.
Yeah, good team to flip it against. That's who you were chasing.
Yep. Cubs lose 2-3 to the Mets, and that is not what you want as a Cubs fan, because now you are a half game back of a playoff spot as well. Senga, who's just been really good for the Mets, he does a great job in that first game. Pete Alonso's not giving a fuck anymore. 3 for 4 with 2 homers, 6 ribbies. Love that for him. He's saying every day that I don't get an extension, the price is going up. Love that. Lindor, who's having a much better season than I knew about. He goes 3 for 4 in that first game. Cubs win the second one. Talkman getting some more playing time out there. I think I believe Seiya Suzuki is just not starting anymore because Talkman's doing it and he's struggled a little bit. He goes 2 for 3 with a homer. Yan Gomes has a double and an RBI in the second game. And then the Mets win the last one. Again, there's Pete Alonso, 1 for 2, 2 walks, a homer. Jeff McNeil getting in on the homer brigade. Mets take 2 out of 3.
Yeah, it's a big one. They stifle the Cubs in their pursuit of the playoffs. So, and the Cubs were red hot. Yeah.
I seen the last game
good.
Suzuki did get back in there. He went 3 for 4 with a triple and a homer. So sometimes you gotta
pick
something away so you appreciate a little more. That happens in sports.
Tyone, he has enjoyed pitching in New York this year. Shuts down the Yankees and looks like he shut down the Mets. Retired the final 16 batters he faced. So I feel like he used to play in New York a lot. I don't know. Like JMO a lot. Been on this show.
Yes. And I believe this is the last series. Let me see. Nope. 2 more series. Not too much on this one. Brewers take 2 of 3 from the Rockies, doing what you're supposed to do. I mentioned the first game was just a bloodbath. Sal Frelick, 2 for 3 with a homer. William Contreras, 3 for 5 with 3 ribbies. Tyrone Taylor, 2 for 4 with a homer. They score 12. They win 12-1. Peralta goes 7 innings pitched, 1 and run. So they get the job done in game 1. Then the Rockies, like I mentioned, they scored a bunch in that top of the 10th. It was actually Cole Tucker's walk that put them ahead. And then they scored some more. So that's awesome. Go Kotuck. He also had another knock there. Vanessa Hudgens was in attendance for the game. And I will be seeing him on Saturday as they are now facing the Dodgers. And then the last game, Milwaukee, they trail 6-5. Canna has the RBI double, and then a walk-off run-scoring error that was hit by Monasterio. He had a fumble, Canna, in left field in the 10th that gave the Rockies the lead, but then he answered the bell in the bottom. Milwaukee wins 2 of 3 to maintain their lead in the NL Central.
Gives up one on an error and instigates the other. Didn't hit the ball, was running the bases on that. But so yeah, Canna feels karmically even there, I'd say. That's nice. Immediate redemption.
He has not been good since going to the Brewers, a 478 OPS in the 9 games since the trade from the Mets to the Brewers. I expect him to figure some stuff out. I just saw him. He went to like a fair with his family. It's good old-fashioned fun. So I expect him to turn it around there.
He'll do his thing. I like that.
Dodgers sweep the Diamondbacks, 2-game sets, 2 good pitching performances by Urias and Miller, and then the usual suspects get the job done for the Dodgers. Betts, Freeman do their thing in game 1. Merrill Kelly has a nice start in game 2. Dodgers win that one 2-0. David Peralta had the 2-run single.
Revenge.
That's really it, guys. They won 2 games. They're doing the dang thing. Still in first place in the NL West, and now
Dodgers still the Dodgers. D-backs are in a bad way, and Jake's coming to town to fix it.
They needed L8. What is going on? He got swept by my Twins.
Sheesh.
So we got the interleague recap. There's 3 series here. Is that brought?
Oh, yeah. Anybody? That is brought to us by our good friends over at Blue
I love
Moon.
Blue Moon.
The playoffs are just around the corner, so it's time to help your team out by sticking to your lucky rituals, like the ritual of enjoying an ice-cold Blue Moon Well, the game is on. Blue Moon was born in a ballpark, first brewed at Coors Field in Denver, Colorado. With its refreshing flavor with Valencia orange peel for a subtle sweetness and hints of coriander. Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale is a one-of-a-kind beer that's made brighter. It's carefully crafted and full-flavored with refreshing notes and a smooth, creamy finish. A beer this good only comes around once in a blue moon. Hey, that's the name of the thing. But you can enjoy it all season long. Blue Moon isn't just another beer, it's a whole different experience. Brighten up your baseball traditions with Blue Moon Belgian-style wheat ale. It's one of a kind every time. Visit get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball to find Blue Moon delivery options. That's get.bluemoonbeer.com/baseball. Blue Moon, made brighter. Celebrate responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Enjoy Blue Moon. Get it delivered. They make it so
Blue Moon
easy
is
now.
never a bad idea.
It's like one of the Family Feud answers, like high up there for like people's favorite beer. Everyone loves Blue Moon.
I drank a Blue Moon at like 10 in the morning at the office because I was so hungry. I hadn't eaten anything, and the Blue Moon was sitting there, so I just drank it for the calories.
Got your morning calories. Not a bad
I don't know if I
way to
suggest
start
that
the
for
day.
everybody, but for me, it worked.
Yeah, that day, it was a formula.
All right, let's get into the interleague.
Yes.
3 games here. We're starting in Los Angeles, sort of, more like Anaheim. I know they don't like that joke, but the Giants came into town against the Angels, and the Angels said, nah, we haven't been playing great, but we take 2 of 3 from the Giants. The Giants win the first game 8-3, and the Angels won the next 2 7-5-4, and then 4-1. 3 quality starts from Angels pitchers in this series. You had Patrick Sandoval going 6 2/3 with 2 earned runs. Then Lucas Giolito goes 6 innings pitched with 3 earned runs. And then Shohei, 6 innings pitched with 0 earned runs. Like I said, they take 2 of 3 in the first game. The Giants came and hit the ball later in the game. 2 for 4, J.D. Davis was. Patrick Bailey goes 2 for 3. Wilmer Flores, who's had a great year, goes 2 for 4 in that game. Then after that, it was all the Moose show. Game 2, he goes 2 for 3 with 2 ribbies. And then in game 3, 2 for 4 with a homer and 3 ribbies to back up Shohei's nice effort. Patrick Bailey in the first game, he had a 2-run double. Randall Grichuk misplayed his drive to left, and that was a 6-run rally, in the 9th inning. And that was tough. That was their 7th consecutive loss for the Angels, which was their season worst. But then they answered the next 2 games, got back into it. Drury had 3 hits in the second game. And like I mentioned, Giolito gets his first victory. But it was, like I said, it was the Mike show, the Mike Moustakas show. He's had a really, really good year. I believe he's got an 820 OPS. And he's going to play forever. This guy is a ball player. Angels take 2 of 3. Probably too little, too late, I'd assume. But you never know, Angels fans. Giants, kind of a what is you doing, baby. St. Louis Cardinals go down to Tampa. And this is a weird one because the Cardinals, not a good team this year. They take 2 out of 3 from the Rays, who are dealing with a bevy of injuries. The Rays win the first game 4-2 behind a really nice start by Eflin. He goes 7 innings pitched, 1 earned runs. But Michaelis kind of matches him. He goes 7 innings pitched, 2 earned runs in that game. Yandy goes 4 for 4 on his birthday. And then it was all Cardinals from there. 6-4 in game 2, 5-2 in game 3. Dakota Hudson gets the W in that second game. He goes 5 innings pitched with 3 earned runs. And then how about Matt Liberatore? Goes 8 innings pitched, shutty with 7 Ks for the win. Cardinals, definitely too little, too late for them. Paul Goldschmidt surpassed 1,100 RBI with a 2-run single in that second game. Paul Goldschmidt is an all-timer. Let me tell you that right now, people.
Oh, yeah.
Liberatore had a great start in that last one. The Rays, middle of the lineup in the third game, Beavers, 4 through 9 hitters. So I guess that's the middle and the end. Didn't record a hit. That's how you lose 2 out of 3 to the Cardinals. 2-gamer here. The Padres go up into Seattle, and the Mariners sweep 2-0 6-1. Mariners do the thing. Logan Gilbert had a great start. And then how about Emerson Hancock in his MLB debut? Goes 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run up against Yu Darvish, who also had a really nice start there. He goes 6 innings pitched with 0 earned runs. But it was the J.P. Crawford show in game 1. He went 3 for 4 with a double. Dylan Moore 1 for 2 with a ribby. And then Cade Marlowe, big forearms, does it in game 2, along with Cal Raleigh. They get the 2-game sweep. They've won. Seattle has won 12 of 14 games. My people. And they are 1.5 back of a wild card spot. This is we'll see. J.P. Crawford, he crumbled to the infield dirt. He collided with Eugenio Suarez in the 4th inning of that game. He went into concussion protocol, got tested for it. I'm still waiting to see what happened there. And that's what happened in Italy.
Bang. Great job, Trev. Yeah. I don't like that J.P. Crawford news, but all right.
We will start in Los Angeles. Again, these are going to go quick.
Yeah, these sets.
Giants win the first game. Like I mentioned, a 6-1 rally in the 9th. Angels down bad after that. They were looking to win the game. You have your closer in. It's 3-2.
Instead,
6 runs later, it ain't happening. Estevez, that was his 2nd consecutive blown save. He converted the first 23. Up in that game, they hadn't won. The Angels hadn't won a game after the trade deadline, which is tough. But then they salvaged the series. They win 2 out of 3. Sorry, people, I had something in my throat. Salvage the series, 2 out of 3. Drury and Mike Moustakas do the dang thing. And then in the the 3rd game, Shohei's on the bump, does enough to win. And then Moustakas hits the tie-breaking 3-run homer for them to get it done. And again, go check his stats out, people. He's doing it. He's doing it for the Angels. He's going to get a contract this offseason.
Sheesh. You will.
Signs a minor league deal with the Rockies. Ends up on the Angels. He's going to get a major league deal. I promise you that.
He's really done it this year. I hadn't looked at the numbers in full. Knew he wasn't doing bad, but he's really hit.
Cardinals take 2 of 3. I think the talk of the town here is Shane McClanahan. Probably not going to pitch again this season. The Rays are down bad with the injuries. They still have enough pitching to get through, but they have to be perfect. No more injuries. They have Savali, they have Eflin, they have guys that can get the job done, but no more injuries. Glasnow has to be okay the rest of the year. All of those things have to happen, as the hottest team during the beginning of the year is now, I'm not saying struggling, but they haven't continued that pace, which we knew they couldn't. And a lot of it has to do with the injuries that they have gone through this year.
For sure. Yeah, they obviously the historic start to the year that basically no teams ever have maintained. So you're coming from a good spot, but they and they're not in first in their division anymore. I know it's the best division, but yeah, they have, the record's not been good since the start of July.
Little Yandy Diaz love. He's hitting 322.
He's been great.
It's the best mark in the AL. It's the 4th in the majors. 917 OPS, ranks only behind Shohei in qualified AL hitters. So Yandy Diaz is doing it. Who's been struggling is Randy Arozarena.
Yeah, he fell out of, I think, pedal contention this month, and
yep.
We have another week of that. That's bad for everybody. I like watching Randy be good.
Posey Siri had a big catch in the first game to preserve the lead against Nolan Gorman, and then the Cardinals did the thing, won the next 2 games. We mentioned Paul Goldschmidt doing his thing. Gallegos got a save, worked a perfect 9th in game 2, and then it was Liberatore show in game 3. Cardinals take 2 of 3 from the Rays. And the last series here, the Padres, who L4 two teams kind of going in different directions here. Padres going down, Mariners going up. And it really showed in this series, man. It really did. Logan Gilbert, a really, really nice start. We mentioned Crawford and Dylan Moore doing their thing. And then Emerson Hancock snaps for you in your debut. Great job. 5 innings pitched, 1 earned run, like I mentioned before. Mariners sweep the Padres in a 2-gamer.
Yeah. Fernando Tatis was Hancock's first ticket that got punched, so that's a nice name to get to be your first.
Yes.
Mariners fans, you're starting to feel pretty good, I think. Like we said during the standings of the AL, 1.5 out. You're the next team in.
They wanted me to pronounce them dead. I wasn't going to do it because I really felt like this team could go, and here they are doing it.
And they still, I think, have all of those games that Jolly turned us on to last week. They still have, I think, 13 left against the A's and Royals.
Yes, their schedule is very soft.
They, just take care of those games. Don't be a disaster in the others. And I think Mariners are kind of a lock to make the playoffs.
Oh, no, don't say that.
Can't say those words. I said it in parentheses.
Okay.
But they're
Padres.
They're looking
What's
good.
up, bro?
Padres on Monday. I think Jake declared buying Padres stock, and since then they've done nothing but lose. So that's a tough draw, but yeah, they had just been starting to feel like the juice could be there if they get really hot. They've got the personnel. It's the guys that are gonna be there, but and it's not about these 2 games. Just the whole season has been.
Yeah, it's been disappointing. I mean, they're 2 or 3 games under 500. What are they?
They're, as of right now, I don't know if those games
5
count.
games under 500.
Yeah, I don't know how many of those games are those next series, but they're 5 games under as of time of recording. 4.5 out with 2 teams between them in the playoff spot, not to mention 1 team having to drop out. They have dug themselves into a hole, and they're sort of in their own tier here standings-wise.
Snaps for us for getting through the first half of the show.
Yes.
Crushed it, as
Crushed
always. Now it is time for the second half of the show. Is that brought to us by anybody?
Everyone go buy a shirt.
Shop.johnboymedia.com. There are some fire shirts on sale.
Actual,
if you like any
really
players in the big leagues, we got you.
I think there's a new line that might be out there if you go look at the website right now. That's going to be probably a tweet about it soon. I saw some cool shirts. Got sent a link yesterday.
What were they? Like JM Essentials or more?
The JM Essentials summer line might be coming. Didn't hear it from me. I don't know.
That's hot. Need it.
So there's going to be.
Let's move on, options. Beavers, too.
Standout
performances. A lot of guys on the list here. We could talk about Carlos Correa. We could talk about Pablo Reyes. We can talk about Kyle Tucker, but we're not going to. At least I am not.
So many of those guys.
I'm going to mention somebody that has kind of flown under the radar, and this one idiot fan I think he called me a jackass because we didn't mention Orlando Arcia in the JM talk, all JM team talk for National League shortstops. Just turns out that there's a couple guys having better years than him, but not by a lot, but by enough where we were deciding between those 2 guys and not Orlando Arcia. But he had a big game. He went 3 for 5 with a double and a homer and 3 ribbies. And on the year,
his numbers are nuts.
Racked up 2.7 WAR. He's hitting 301 on the season. 829 OPS, 120 OPS plus. At the beginning of the year, when he got the job over Vaughn Grissom, a lot of people were like, what is happening? We don't need this guy. And I said all he needed to do was just be solid, just be okay. He doesn't need to be an offensive threat. He just needs to go catch the ball.
He's always been a glove
guy. He'll fit in perfectly. He's hit the ball. He's part of this vaunted Braves offense. He's held his weight. I mean, he's got 43 ribbies from your shortstop, 49 runs, 13 bombs. I mean, these are good numbers from a shortstop at August 11th. He's going to add on to these counting stats. So I'm stoked for him, man.
Yeah,
It's
that's
really funny
awesome.
because I played with Oswaldo Arcia. People forget that. And he always tell me about his baby brother.
Huh.
Gonna be there. And here he is doing his dang thing. So shout out Orlando Arcia for getting the job done and, proving your worth when a lot of people doubted you.
Yeah, hey, he is in the conversation for being one of the people we pick for a pedal for sure. Have another big month, he'll probably be involved because his numbers they are not far off, maybe not even off at all. He's in that crew. So good for that guy, man. Wouldn't be the first guy to fully put it together at 28 years old. I've seen that story in baseball. So
yes,
good for that guy. Good for the Braves. That's awesome. And he had a great day at the office. I am staying in the NL East for my standout. And I teased this before. We mentioned that it was I believe in the 5-4 Marlins win, Josh Bell hits 2 homers. Little nugget from that from that game. First time in Josh Bell's, I think, professional career, he's homered from both sides of the plate. Switch hitter with pop. It was the first time he's done it. He mentioned in his post game on-field chat first time I've done that since I was a kid, like little league stuff. I thought that was a cool story. Happened in an impactful win in an impactful series, so he picked a great time for it. I think he had been the second highest on the switch hitter home run leaderboards for a career that hadn't done that. So he crosses that off the checklist. Because I'm sure every switch hitter wants to do that at some point in the show. And you want to do that anyway. 2 homers in any game, awesome. But that feels like a good one.
Nice job, Josh Bell. I'm curious to see if the Marlins can stay in this fight, hold on to a wild card spot, because they'll be, I think, maybe not the most surprising team to get a playoff spot, because you could probably put the Reds in there and the Cubs probably in front of them. I think there was more expectations on the Marlins just because of the pitching staff and all that goes into it.
Yeah.
But they played a good brand of baseball. I mean, Josh Chisholm's back. They traded for Josh Bell. I mean, they made some additions, man. They shored up the bullpen. They're doing a good job. They're doing what you want your franchise to do. So I'm hoping they do. I think that'll be a cool story. But again, really a lot of people here could have been mentioned in stand-up performances, but they weren't. Shout out and congrats to Orlando Arcia and Josh Bell for getting it.
Yeah. A lot of good options always, and maybe a few of those options are going to be hitting this next segment.
Dirt Nasty's on Fuego. That means I'm on fire, baby. Like Waco.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers is doing a smoking a joint handshake?
Huh.
So this is it. They go together. This is Aaron Rodgers. This is somebody else. And they go.
Interesting.
Not good for the kids, Aaron.
He's rebranded over the last few years. So interesting story about how he sits with somebody different at lunch every day, and that's interesting. I don't know.
Did he just turn into a weirdo, or has he always been kind of a strange dude?
Was he always weird and we just didn't know about it?
Maybe.
Probably.
We started, and maybe he's not weird. I met him. Before I get into Fuego, I'm sorry. We got some time here, people. We're cruising. I met him at the he won the MVP, and then there was a party right before the Super Bowl. And I went down to this party. It was a CAA party, my former agency. And there's Aaron Rodgers. He's hanging there. There was a lot of the football players were there. And my buddy who I was with, Nameless Jeff, a lot of people know Nameless Jeff on this show. He used to be a huge Packers fan before Matthew Stafford stole me and Jeff over to the Rams. So we went and said hi to Aaron Rodgers. He was the nicest guy. And you know what he was holding?
What was he holding?
3 books. He was walking around this party with 3 books. So at that point, I was like, okay, let's, I don't know what's going on here. But that's my Aaron Rodgers story. Anyways, back to Fuego for the series. Pete Alonso, D-gaff right now. 5 for 10, 4 homers, 10 ribbies. That's a nice series, bro. Love that for you. How about Miami's DH, Jorge Soler, 5 for 11, 2 homers, 3 ribbies, and a walk. Brian Hayes goes 7 for 13, 2 homers with 9 ribbies. He's on fire. I like that. That's what Fuego means, by the way, Beaver.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For the week of August 4th through August 10th, Trey Turner goes 10 for 27. He gets the standing O and does this.
Whew.
4 doubles, 2 homers, 8 ribbies for a 1.1. Gotta love that. MJ Melendez, 8 for 19 in the series, or for the week, excuse me. A triple and 4 homers for him, 5 ribbies for the 1.6er. How about Tyler Holton? Is he in your book?
He was not previously in my book. I'll be honest.
I watched him pitch. Detroit right-hander Tyler Holton goes 3 games, 4 1/3 innings pitched, 0 earned runs, 4 Ks. That's how you do it. That's how you end up on Fuego. And for the 2 weeks, just a bunch of pitchers, Beavers.
These guys were in my book.
3 games started, 19 innings pitched, 14 hits, 2 earned runs, 17 Ks. That's good for a .95 ERA and WHIP. Graham Ashcraft says, I see you. I see you out there doing that, you Darvish. I'm going to throw 21 innings pitched, though, my 3 games started. I'm going to give up 13 hits, 4 earned runs, 14 Ks. I got a 1.71 ERA, but a .76 WHIP. That's nice. And then Matt Brash, who I think is probably the nastiest reliever that nobody talks about. He's filthy. His stuff is nasty. 8 games pitched in these 2 weeks. He went 3-0. He got 1 save, 8 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, 8 Ks for a 1 WHIP, 0 ERA. And that's who's in Fuego for the week.
Matt Brash might be what the Mariners knew about when they did the Paul Sewald trade. I don't know. That dude's nasty.
Nasty.
Congrats to all these guys. Keep producing. Injury updates. A couple names this week, man. Josh Young, we're going to talk about that a little bit later. I think he goes on the IL, potentially missing the rest of the regular season. We'll see. Carlos Rodon, he goes on the IL with the hammy. Starling Marte's on the IL. Kevin Kiermaier, our guy. Brian Wu, he's been set in the office a lot. Greinke, AJ Pollock, Danny Kalum. They all go on, but coming back. Luis Gonzalez out in San Francisco. Jonathan Loaizaga, he was missed. Clayton Kershaw, his first start in about a month and a half. And the big one is Trevor Story returning for the Red Sox. I think that could be a part of their juice moving forward.
Beautiful, Beavers. Beautiful. Now, we're not going to do an awards segment, but we are going to play the clip because we love it.
Awards!
Shout out, Kellis. I thought I might see her as the Rockies were coming to LA and I'm going to the game, but I think she's at home.
Not on this set? Interesting.
Saw Instagram from home, so I don't think she's there.
Yeah. Could be a one-day stop by, or I don't know what the travel plan is. Can't claim to
maybe.
know.
Shout out Casey. Shout out Kelsey.
We
Just
love
2
them.
absolute studs.
Yeah, got to hang out with Kelsey last week. We shared some laughs, watching some stuff at the floorball tourney.
The best. So instead of the awards, we did pose we don't know what to call it, a tweet.
Yeah, we put a tweet out there.
We tweeted it out. We asked you, what are some questions that you guys have? And instead of doing the awards, we'll do these. I favorited a few or liked a few.
You're going way back on the favorite.
What am I? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe
But favoriting might be
I have a few. We're not going to go through all of these. I think quickly, Keel's World seems like a Phillies fan. He goes, why has nobody talked about Bryson Stott's 2023 season? Are you aware of just how good he's doing, Beavers?
I mean, I've usually got my my Phillies infielders on lock. I know he leads the team in WAR by quite a bit. He has been doing enough with the stick and is a really good fielder. So I love me some Bryson Stott.
So he's 302, hitting 302 is average. 21 stolen bases, 10 homers. His OPS plus is 113. He has 7 defensive run saves at second base.
Sheesh.
So he's kind of like doing it everywhere. And that's how you rack up that WAR. And you know what? When you talk about the Phillies, he's probably like the 8th guy you mention on that team. But he has been the most consistent performer in a season where Trey Turner has struggled to get going. Obviously, he's doing something now, but he's still underperforming. Kyle Schwarber's having like a strange year, a bunch of homers. He's kind of having a Joey Gallo year, hitting 182, but his OBP is 324 and slugging 430 because he has those 30 homers. It's basically been Bryson Stott and Brandon Marsh. Now, Brandon Marsh is now on the IL, but to be that guy, and this is your second year in the big leagues. He's got a 3.9 Baseball Reference WAR now. Good for you. 780 OPS. Shout out. I mean, this guy's been a consistent performer on a really good team. And when you get, this is the thing, this is why I wanted to talk about him. When you get performances like this, Beavers, from a guy that you really aren't expecting to put up numbers like this. It'd be nice if he did, obviously. You're not expecting this. When you get your young guys making the league minimum to perform like this, and then you have the guys who you're paying all the money and they start performing, that's how you construct a good baseball team. That's how you have good winning seasons. So shout out Bryson Stott for doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. You get a guy you were not banking on, like it was sort of a whatever we get from him, we get from him. Maybe we add someone mid-season, make him more of a bench piece. No, he has been a stud for them. In a year where some of the guys you would expect to carry the load have struggled or missed time, he has been as consistent as it gets for them. That's awesome.
Another guy we're going to shine some light on. This question comes from Ed Hand 89. He goes, what will Triston Casas need to do for you to respect him? And to that, I will say, I respect him already. He's a young hitter. He's 23 years old right now. He's been going off, dude. Last 28 days, Beavers, 342, 425, 750. That's a 1.175.
I like that.
He's been absolutely crushing the ball. Big old boy, 6'5", 244. He will be instrumental to any Boston Red Sox success and run here during the playoffs. But yeah, he's figuring it out, man. It's good to see a young hitter. It takes a little bit of time to be comfortable, to understand the adjustments the league will make against you and what kind of adjustments you have to make. And it seems like Casas has started to figure that out. And a lot of people have been singing his praises for a while. They can't wait. They couldn't wait for him to get to the big leagues and perform. And now he's there and proving everybody that had his back right. So shout out to Triston Casas for having just an incredible last month.
Yeah, I mean his numbers on the season as a whole are just straight up good now. So hey, good for that dude. And you take one look at that guy, and I think everyone thinks he can hit. Obviously, you got to do it. And fortunately, I've benefited from him not killing the Yankees yet, but I think that's gonna come, and then I'll have to start not liking him.
Shout out to Casas and Bryson Stott. Now we're gonna answer two more questions before we get out of here. This one is kind of funky because it's a weird award, but Beavers, this one comes from Arthur Congo. Who are your manager of the year frontrunners? And I think there's one easy one here in the AL. I think it's Bruce Bochy.
I think so too. It's where I think in each league there's one team my mind jumped to first. I'd be curious to extrapolate a little more, but in Rangers we knew they were going to be competitive, but we were all saying from where they are last year, if they get 83 wins, that's a huge jump, and they have been among the best teams in the AL, been atop their division for most, if not all, of this season. He feels like a front runner.
Okay, I think he's got it. I mean, you could talk about Brandon Hyde in Baltimore and what he's been able to do. I believe he finished second last year.
We can find that out so easy. In my head, I thought he might have gotten it, but that could be wrong. I thought he was
behind. But.
I think you may be right. He finished. How is that? Second in manager of the year last year. So there's a chance that the writers try to do right by him and give him the kind of for the last 2 years what you've done.
Who won it last year? Cash?
I think it was Cash. Manager. No way. Tito got it last year.
That's right. Cleveland did their thing.
Yeah. Booney with a couple votes. All right.
In the National League, I think it's a little bit more up in the air. A couple guys that I can think of.
David Bell was the first
David
place
Ross.
I went.
What's that?
Bell was the first place my mind went, just where the Reds' expectations are and the fact that they've given anything, let alone they're as much in the playoff race as anybody, but in their division.
Bell and Ross are, those are guys that have taken teams that, have a lot of had question marks coming into the year. Not crazy expectations, but they've surpassed them. So I could see that happening. Another one, and I know people are going to say, no, you're biased. This is your friend. But Gabe Kapler in San Francisco deserves a shout. Like, he's literally been working with like a 2-man, 3-man pitching staff for months.
He's going to get some votes.
So figuring that out while staying afloat, in the National League, at one point I don't know if they ever got into first place in the NOS. I don't think so, but they got close. They're in the wild card right now. I think having to move pieces around like that definitely puts them in the conversation. So
I think so,
I guess if I had to pick one, I'm picking Bruce Bochy in the American League. And I think I'm going to pick David Ross for the National League.
If I were casting my votes, I think I'd be Bochy and Bell. But Rossi's going to be, I think Ross and Bell are, my prediction would be Ross and Bell are 1-2 in some order. Gabe sneaks into third. But he should be getting votes, man. He's good. That team didn't have necessarily the highest of expectations themselves this year on a national level.
Last question that we're going to pose to each other. This one comes from Sammy James. With Josh Jung out for most of the remainder of the season, who do you guys think will win the AL Rookie of the Year? Now, he was the favorite, has to have surgery, going to miss a bunch of time. So now we have some guys behind him. We have Yoshida. You could even throw Casas in there if he continues to just go off. You have Gunnar Henderson. I'm missing somebody else right now. No, that's it. Casas, Yoshida, Gunnar Henderson. Those are the guys that I would say could or are going to be in the running. Gunnar Henderson has just started to absolutely go off. Yoshida's kind of been consistent all year long. And we know what Casas has done. So I think those guys, I think Corbin Carroll has it wrapped up in the National League.
Been so good, helped the team so much. I think I agree.
Who are you picking of those guys?
A lot of guys that are good that I'm into and would hear the arguments for. It would have been Jung, but Young, I still don't really know how you say his name. Thickneck. I think Gunnar would be my front runner. What he's done on the season, he's the one that's on a first place team, and he has the pedigree that the guys were looking for. He was the top prospect in baseball, I believe, at the time he was called up. He's where my mind would first go to. Curious if you agree.
I think it's Gunnar for me too, because he does it on all sides of the ball. I think that's what's hurting Yoshida a little bit. The offensive numbers are there: 123 OPS plus, 839 OPS for Yoshida. Gunnar Henderson, 791 OPS and a 118 OPS plus, but he plays a good defense. So I think that I would lean Gunnar. Triston Casas could be like the guy that sneaks in and just runs away with it if he continues his pace over the next 2 months. Right now, I have the odds up. He's sitting at plus 1,500. Gunnar Henderson is minus 220. Yoshida's plus 210. I would sprinkle some on Triston Casas.
That'd be a great sprinkle. If
he
finishes out this
doing
year
it
strong.
right now, and they're going to need him. Like, he's going to be hitting. He's got a good offense around him.
If the team is still interesting in that final week, which they might be trending that way, they've got a lineup I believe in. I really like that sprinkle for where things are at right now.
Yeah, he doesn't do a lot with WAR because defensively he's just not great. His baseball savant's pretty funny. A lot of red bubbles, barrel percentage 92nd percentile, average exit velo up there as well. He can walk, but he strikes out a lot. Sprint speeds at 7th percentile, outs above average, the 2nd percentile, arm strength 14th. So he's not doing a lot defensively, but the guy can hit.
Yeah, and those bubbles, I feel like they don't know what to do with first baseman, but that dude mashes. And then you look at that body, and the sprint speed adds up. But he's got
sprint speed adds up.
He is an intimidating figure in the box. Big old legs. He's gonna be a problem.
He probably looks good naked.
Yeah.
We're gonna end the show there. I'm gonna pose one question to the audience, and I want you to leave your comment before we head out of here. This one comes from the Space Pope. Of course it does. He's a Mariners fan, and he said, "Who's the most handsome team, and why is it the Mariners?" I don't know if they are the most handsome team. You tell me. You tell us who the most handsome team in the big leagues is in the comments. And for that, we are out of here.
We're out. It was a great show.
We are out of here, man. It's the weekend, people. Go get a blue moon.
Have a blue moon. Relax. Have fun.
Deserve it.
Chick sucks. Enjoy the baseball.
What the heck is Jake doing in Arizona? What is he doing?
Dude, he's gonna like race some kids. Putting them in the kid race.
Oh, man. He's going to have a few pops with Tour of the Battle. I guarantee that.
Yeah. I've heard some videos they're filming. It'll be good.
See ya.